I decided to do a short follow-on video to close out the subject of Colt quality, or lack thereof. I specifically wanted to address the question that inevitably pops up in any thread related to the subject. Why hasn't CZ stepped in and improved quality at Colt when it's clear they have an issue and it's getting worse? The simple answer is, from a business perspective, they have no incentive to do so. Whenever I make this comment, a certain contingent of Reddit members lose their collective minds and downvote me into oblivion for it. My guess is they have an emotional attachment to the brand and think that Colt should be revered as a sacred national treasure by those who work for Colt as much as they do. Stay until the end and I'll share an example of an encounter I had with a true believer just this week. Sorry to break the news, but Colt's a business. I mean, it's revered by some customers, but it's a business. And based upon the length of time their employees stay, I'd venture to say there isn't a whole lot of revering at the company. I was curious whether Colt's professional workforce was as transient as the people in their factory. So I went on LinkedIn and randomly chose 15 people across multiple functions who currently work at Colt's manufacturing. I stratified their tenure at the company into a few buckets, representing newbies, midterm, and long-term people. You could see that 2/3 of my sample had been there for less than 5 years, and a quarter less than a year. Most sales and marketing folks had prior firearms industry experience, and the lower level of the team typically didn't. You can argue those with it would see this as just another job with just another company, although you could really argue the same for the others. In any case, this proves the professional team is somewhat transient as well. By the way, if you want someone to blame for Colt's quality issues, this is your guy. Just like most of his colleagues, he's a short timer. He's only been there 10 months. Glad to see old Stefan's got a side business to distract him from his day job. He's going to be great. In case you're concerned, listing his name is not doxing. A simple Google or LinkedIn search for Colt's Manufacturing Quality Director brings his name right up. Returning to business strategy, garbage quality and all, Colt is doing exactly what CZ bought them to do. Be a cash cow. And Colt is a textbook example of one. What's a cash cow? It's essentially a business or brand within a larger organization that generates a steady and reliable stream of profits for the parent company. That stream is typically utilized to fund higher growth opportunities for that parent company, such as new product development or M&A activities. Here's a more business school set of criteria for a business to fall into the category. It should be a well-established brand with strong market share in a highly stable, low-growth market, red, low volatility, that runs mostly maintenance-free and provides its company, again, with a consistent flow of profit dollars, or euros or yen, Colt's market share is fairly low, but that's offset by its extremely high brand recognition and customer loyalty. I'll come back to market share in a moment. Something cash cows almost never do is spend money on things like capital equipment, product development, or anything else that would eat into their profit stream. This includes investing in quality. Improving quality would require one or more of the following: implementing a quality system and staffing it, accepting a higher cost of scrap, or investing in machines capable of consistently producing high quality components. Finally, investing in employees, aka higher wages. All of these would bump both direct and indirect product costs. In most cases, no biggie, just increase prices to offset the bump in costs. Colt can't do that. Their product is already priced at a premium versus competition. For example, a Colt Commander is priced 30% higher than a Springfield Commander. And Colt's value proposition is pretty damn thin, even if their quality and performance was on par with Springfield. Colt knows that pushing a price increase would more than likely push all but their most stalwart customers to another brand. So that's just not an option here. Here's the most surprising part, at least it was for me. Their business is booming, though. Despite their quality continuing to degrade, demand for Colt 1911s is apparently increasing. Granted, I only have data from 21 and 22. It tells a pretty compelling story with a 29% year-over-year increase in volume. Compare that to Springfield and Kimber. Kimber lost 21%. If I'm running Colt, this growth tells me I don't need to spend a dime on quality, and I'm putting in a swimming pool with my massive bonus. By the way, those numbers don't include Colt's revolver sales, which skyrocketed even more than their 1911s did. Apparently, the relaunches of the Anaconda and Python went pretty well. And never mind the pool, I'm buying a summer home. While I had the spreadsheets open, I had a squirrel moment. I have lots of those. I became curious about market share. So I compiled the estimated number of 1911s from the larger players, factoring in for the mix each manufacturer supports. Colt's pistol production is all 1911s, but the 1911 platform makes up a rather small portion of SIG's pistol output. Honestly, nothing surprising in the chart, but again, I was curious. Returning to the core topic, Regardless of how you feel about the brand, Colt is a business that serves a very specific purpose in its parent company's portfolio. Spending money on quality improvements would make it no longer a cash cow. The only way they deviate from this strategy would be if demand started dropping like a stone. So if you want Colt to make better guns, don't reward their behavior of putting out garbage. Stop buying them. And now for my real-life encounter with a Colt apologist. I posted my previous video on a few platforms and actually received a response from someone stating I didn't know Colts and my video outlining the gun's numerous defects was, and I quote, whining. They suggested I work at a repair center to get an education. I don't know about you, but to me that's a pretty f***ed up Colt shit. And I obviously can't speak for you, but when I buy a new anything, particularly when I'm paying a 30% premium versus an equivalent, my expectation is it doesn't need to be rebuilt to function. That applies to guns, weed whackers, air fryers, armadillo traps, literally everything. In this instance, I don't want an education. I want a gun that works. And yes, I'm still trying to finish my build. Now get off my lawn. Wait, don't go away because I have some major news. Dennis, I won't try to pronounce his last name, has been president of Colt since 2013. But as of April 1st, his ass is out of there. I know many of us would like to think that his departure is due to the increase in defects, but we don't know. Sales could have actually been dropping. He could have been banging a secretary. He may have actually resigned. Not likely, but it's a possibility. In any case, you won't see any major changes at Colt because, again, it's a cash cow. But I'd like to think whoever they put in place going forward may take a bit more of an interest in quality because old Dennis sure as hell wasn't helping. I say good riddance. Amazing what you find when you're looking for a company logo. Okay, now get off my lawn. Girl,